Welcome to 5 Minutes, your quick dive into the wide-ranging world of insurance, technology, and leadership. I'm Miguel Edwards, and I'll be your guide as we explore these topics that are transforming not just the insurance industry, but the business world at large. Along with sharing observations I've made over the span of my career in insurance, technology, and operations, I'll be chatting with some of the brightest minds in business and leadership. Whether you're a seasoned executive or a rising star, an industry expert, or just curious about how technology is revolutionizing insurance, this is your perfect spot for your weekly dose of insights. This is 5 Minutes.
I'd like you to clarify for my audience here. You mentioned the notion of horizontal and vertical integration of the AI tooling. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, well, if you think about a tool for F&OL, a tool for policy coverage, you think of a tool for, settlement values, reserve values. All of those tools require an adjuster to integrate and contextualize them together, right? So the way we built the claim conductor is it does that contextualizing and the movement of the claim from one piece to the other. And each of those point solutions, they actually aren't tied together. They're separate. They're coming into traditional systems separately.
Right.
The F&OL comes in as a separate thing, and it's triaged to a team. Coverage is actually push, not pull, or pull, not push, meaning adjusters have to write out the notes and then ask it to come back.
Right.
We actually do it dynamically. So the moment, there isn't really an F&OL. The moment the information comes in, our system immediately contextualizes it around whatever's in the file. And if something new comes in the file, it recontextualizes it. So coverage isn't necessarily static. I mean, there might be some new part of the claim that comes in later, and that part might not be covered, even though if the initial part is covered. So our system will recognize, oh, wow, there's a new request in the system. We need to recontextualize coverage. Whereas in today's world, even with a point solution, the adjuster's the one who has to realize, oh, wait a minute. Now this new piece of information's come in. I need to treat it differently. In our system, that's all surfaced automatically.
And so is that what we often hear described as agentic, that notion of bringing all those contexts together in one operation?
Yeah, well, agentic is an agent. So agentic is we have literally a swarm. We have an agent which will say, oh, wow, I'm the coverage agent.
Yeah.
I see a new piece of information coming in, which might change my coverage opinion. So we might have an agent for a particular kind of coverage.
Right.
And that's supported by a system we call Atlas.
Okay.
So Atlas is a deep knowledge base that we are collecting based on the best-in-class claims adjusting for particular kinds of claims. And
fascinating.
so it's a pretty complex build. We're pretty ambitious, but we think it's the way to go. I mean, that's awesome. The way to do it.
Let me wrap with this question, Grace. You're a technology innovator. What's on your crystal ball? What's in your crystal ball? What's on your roadmap for the next, call it 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, well, for Elysian, we want to get customers who believe in what we're building, and we want to be able to measurably demonstrate we can impact their loss ratios. Okay. I've done that internally, in-house with companies. I want to now do it as an external service provider. On the tech front, I think we're going to see a lot of consolidation. So point solutions are going to start to merge as the big players are able to deliver the functionality that candidly, some of the vendors out there are doing now.
Right.
And that's going to create an interesting compression and consolidation. We now see we can do things that people are doing as a point solution, and we can do them just because we have this data layer, we have this infrastructure. So be curious to see the landscape. I think fewer companies.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right. I mean, I see that as an outcome even of AI. I mean, because there's so much democratization of, I've never written code before in my life, and I have an AWS instance up and running with a mobile app and did all that with AI. So even in-house companies, people with enough resources are going to be able to deploy tools that now they're buying.
Thank you for joining this episode of 5 Minutes. If you've enjoyed our discussion, we'd love for you to share it with anyone else you think might find it interesting. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on and hit that bell to stay on top of the game with our practical 5-minute episodes. We look forward to seeing you again next week.